and welcome to the Golden Truth Raw and Real, and I'm Linda Summers.
And I'm Sharon Andrea.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we really appreciate it. And the topic is, we're just going to be raw and real. We're going to just, whatever comes out is going to, didn't have any intention of doing the show, but we figured whatever Sharon and I say, hey, it's good information.
Yes, raw and as real as we ever been before, with jokes and everything. And of course, today is a very special day. It is June 20th, the summer solstice, full moon, all these energies together. And so, yay, I think it was just meant to be anyway for us to record today, Linda. So we're very happy to bring you on the segment with a totally different energy and so much to share, and with laughter and just raw and real, very raw and real. That's right.
And a lot of love. So, and it truly is. This was a very, very different show. And you're going to find the shows from this day forward are going to be just awesome. Like, just very, very different. Like you'll just be with us, connect with us at a heart level. Don't listen with your ears, but listen with your heart and open mind. And we're just glad you're here. So thank you.
That's right. Glad that you're here to join us as always. And of course, this is just a different segment for today because we already pre-recorded our conversation, and it's like each time the data comes out differently. So of course, all the other future shows, we're definitely going to have guests on so we can all be interacting with one another. We think it's very important. But you know what? Linda and I have a concept that is so wonderful to come across different every time because it makes it more exciting, you know?
Yeah, because there's no script. There's nothing. We are truly raw and real. Whatever comes in through spirit comes through, and we just go with what, and that's what I think really makes us different, because there is no script. We're basically raw and real.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's very raw and real.
Yeah, and we won't be doing a show the 29th, so we will have one. Oh, no, not next Wednesday. So it'll be this one, and then we'll be doing one tomorrow. So be sure to tune in tomorrow as well, because with this week, and like Sharon was saying, great energy today with the solstice and the new moon, and it's going to continue these energies on. And I think we're going to talk about the Eye of Horus tomorrow, right?
That's correct. You mean
So we don't know. We're just going to kind of come on. That's going to be really that will kind of set us up for the show tomorrow. But again, whatever comes through that I ask Sharon answers, and then we have this dialogue going back and forth. So we don't really know. So that's the beauty of it, which I love, because it comes strictly from spirit, and we just move with that and create and awaken the consciousness, and awaken you all up. So awesome. So thank you again for being here. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and just know that the portal of the solstice is going to be continuous for the next 5 days. It doesn't just open up and close up, wham, and that's it. No, it's a continuous cycle. We're going through a continuous cycle of birth and rebirth and changes on the planet. So yay.
Maybe we should talk a little bit on that just briefly before we kind of end this, because this is really this is our introduction to our show of tonight, because we didn't know we were going to do a show until we started recording. So it is very raw and real, let me tell you. When you see it, it's raw and real. I mean, I'm eating, I'm getting up and showing her my dress and my shoes, and so a lot of things are happening. So
that's right. Even messages was coming through with my daughter, which we were not expecting, of the paintings that she did. So that's even in the segment that you're about to see and hear as well. And of course,
which is all part of what we're talking about. So everything that she showed you of her daughter's pictures, everything is being brought in, of the dress that I'm wearing tomorrow. And, just so everything that you hear and you take, really, it's not that it is not of the show. It really is all a part of it. So
yeah, because I mean, it's life in and of itself anyway. And,
but I think it would be good to dive in, don't you think, about a little bit about the solstice? So I mean, since it is today, if we can talk a little bit on that, because we didn't get a chance to share that the last show because we have technical difficulties, but we have a little bit of time. So I think that would be really good to kind of give them something, at least tonight, that who's ever listening, that when we post this would be able to hear.
Yes. I'm going just from my memory, not anything, because I'm not an astrologist. So, I will at least dive into what I know, what is happening within us energetically. And so this is where the solstice is about the sun shining the longest day of the year, the summer, and then afterwards it's just going to start to shorten depending on where in the hemisphere you're located. So like we're in the northern hemisphere as far as the United States, so those who are having summer months, and the southern hemisphere, those who are having winter months like in Australia and so on. And so this is where the sun and the moon are actually, you know, merged together in some way. And the sun represents what? The masculine, and the moon represents the feminine.
Yeah.
What's happening is that I'm tuning in like spiritually to what I'm getting, since I don't have anything in front of me as far as what this means astrologically. So this is where there's a blending together for us with our masculine and feminine energies. And it's like a wave of energy. So we're also in a third wave of energy, which has to do with a lot of emotions, because now the moon is in Cancer, I believe. And the Cancer sign, which I have 2 Cancer children, Lord. So I know what that is. And that is a lot of emotions are coming up to the surface. And boy, Linda, did we have emotions, right?
Yes.
The past few days. And also something was led to me today, excitement. I didn't get to read it fully, but it has to do with conscious relationships. So this really is a lot about the relationships that we have with ourselves.
Yes.
And the relationship that we have with each other, whether it's a business relationship or personal relationship.
Yeah. And relationship with yourself.
Oh yeah. But even so, like for some people, they might think, oh, only it's in relation to their personal relationship. It's also about the relationship you have with your neighbors, your
everything, children, food, your health, life,
yes, indeed. And so we are in the third dimension with our physical bodies, but we're also ascending with the planet to the higher dimensions. And this is where we're anchoring now in 5D. So this is about being ready to being in 5D. Now this only applies to those as far as we're working on themselves. So it doesn't mean that anyone who is not applying that they're not going to feel anything. Everyone is feeling something. There's no stone left unturned whatsoever, you know. So these dimension of the higher dimension is how we're anchoring all the things that we are not only putting out there and manifesting, but also anchoring in the heart, you know, coming back to how we were originally in Atlantis before the chaos started. And this means that we're heading in a direction where we're able to manifest things immediately, just like how Jesus was able to walk on water, how we're able to manifest things just by thought alone, not the doing. That's what, remember, Linda, when I always talk about the being and doing aspect, you know, when it comes to creating things and our elements of creation, it starts from thought. You know, God created the heaven and earth, what? By thought first, right?
Right, but stepping back to ascension, because some people, when you talk about we're going into a fifth dimension, we're ascending, a lot of people, just for clarity purposes, it's not like we're going up and anywhere out. It's really in the raising of our own consciousness, our thoughts. It's in raising that to a higher vibration, because a lot of people can get that misconstrued as to, oh, are we going somewhere? Where are we going? Oh my God, are we dying? Or are we being lifted off like Scotty beamed me up? No, it's not like that.
Well, actually,
actually, I was just going to say, well, okay, all right.
Little beaming, because I kind of had a sort of a,
yeah, I know, after I said it, it was like, well, okay.
Well, you know, because, hey, this is about keeping it real, okay?
Yeah.
Having memories back in Egypt. I know I didn't hear that. I'm having memories back in Egypt as if there were things that were like teleportation.
Yes.
So this is for us to remember and know that our bodies are like the vehicle, right? To get us where we want to go, literally.
Literally, yes. Because we have to travel in our sleep anyway, so.
Yes, every time as soon as you close your eyes, drift off your astral traveling. So we're actually traveling out of our bodies.
Yes.
And as we're traveling out of our bodies, we are doing a lot of things, okay? Because this is what I want people to understand, is that you're never just not being. You're always being all the time, even if you're not doing anything. Yeah. Even if you're a bum on the sidewalk, okay? You're still being. You're still in motion with things and everything, no matter what it is that that is happening.
Yeah.
So as as we are going through these dimensions, it's not where you're physically, you know, going there. It's an internal thing because the entire universe is within you. It is within you. And, you know, consciousness and all of that is, it's something that, if someone says, well, what is that? What is that like? You know, is it something you see? It's a feeling mechanism. It's a feeling mechanism. You feel elevated. It's just like when you're in a moment of feeling sad and low and worried and angry. All of those are the elements of lower, and also when you're being controlled, those are the lower level of consciousness, okay? And it's hard for things to become creative within you when you're on those of a manipulation and all that stuff. Those are the lower levels of consciousness. Now, when you're raising and elevating yourself, this is where you are in a knowing state of being. Like, you know how powerful you are within yourself. You know that you can have things come magically towards you just by
they do. Because they do happen at that level. So that's where you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm manifesting this. How did that happen? But if you are in awareness of where you're at vibrationally, you'll realize, wow, if I stay here, this is what I can manifest. Because as we talked the other day, when you're in a love vibration, that is how everything in this universe got created, including laptops and cars and glasses and pens and whatever, because there was a love.
Yeah. And, you know, when you speak about laptops and cars, we're always inspired, you know, because we're inspired not only with our higher selves, when our higher selves is also AKA Holy Spirit. That is you in your higher version of yourself in from the soul aspect. Your soul desires to know itself while it's in the physical body. It's a memory. It's a memory that you have that has been locked away, sort of, okay, where you cause yourself to forget before you incarnated in order for you to remember yourself. So for me, I want to explain this, Linda, why I think where Spirit is leading me with this is I want to explain it in a way that even a child can understand. What does it mean, the end times and the state of consciousness and where we are now and what is the purpose, okay?
Yeah, and we'll leave them with that and finish up, we'll go dive in more tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that'll be a good segue to kind of,
Yeah, and this is where you are remembering yourself from a soul perspective, because your soul desires to know itself and to remember itself while it's in the body. So like we said, Linda and I said that your body is a vehicle, you know, and we're not talking about a vehicle where it's only about getting up, going to work, and, you know, day to day making money, or you just go different places and that's it. There's more to your life than just making money and that's it. No, this is about who you are being while you're in the body with all of your experiences, okay? And what is it that you have done for yourself in the name of love, okay? In the name of love. And so that aspect of yourself that desires to know itself while it's in the physical body, because that is where we are doing things to work things in a manifestation. You see what I'm saying? And so what that means is that instead of you understanding and remembering yourself with everything you need to work on with yourself because you left out of your body, because you died, this is where it's happening while you're in the body. You're in the body, okay? Then rather than when all truths and you become awakened out of your body. What does it mean to be awakened? We'll get to that in another segment.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to explain that to you, so you understand what it means, the end times. It has to do with all of the changes that are happening on the planet and how it's affecting us right in the moment now, not next week, not later on. It's already happening now. It's been happening since 2012.
Yeah. Yeah, and people, it's not the end of times, it's but the end of the consciousness of our way of thinking, of the way of being, how we have been in the past. That is ending, and because we are raising our consciousness, and so that's where we talk about the ascension. So, yeah, it's very powerful.
Very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And I find it to be extremely exciting and extremely invigorating.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it. Well, so we'll let the other part continue on, and so you guys just enjoy the rest of the show. So, yeah.
Yes. So, and please, and for all future intensive purposes, please come on and ask questions.
Yeah.
We love when you ask questions, because what that means is that you're coming to a greater level of understanding about what is happening through you, not to you.
Well, and also too, you're seeking to, like you were saying earlier in the show, you're seeking to know and you're wondering what is going on. So in the inquiring, just shows your interest in opening to the possibility of being able to shift your own perspective and raise your own consciousness to where you can start manifesting. So yeah, so true. Yeah, really true. So
for those of you who say, well, I'm not personally caring about what's going on. Well, let me give you a hint about why you want to know what's going
you
on.
will care. Yeah,
These
because it affects you.
Of course, these are the questions. Have you lost your job lately? Have
Yeah.
you broken up from a relationship that you've been with for the longest, when you have no idea what's going on? Do you find yourself feeling like you are what we call losing everything, or everything stripped away from you?
Are you battling with your children?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of things.
Yes. Or do you have a sudden income loss all of a sudden, when you had it all and all of a sudden it just disappeared? Did you feel like you just walked away from your job? Have you walked away from your spouses?
Yeah.
Have you just had to suddenly move? Did you suddenly start, losing your home, money taken out of your bank, driver's license suspended, all different elements of things that look like they're going wrong.
Right.
And you know that you are experiencing a part of you that's starting to become awakened. Do you feel like that you're wanting to be isolated, that you don't want to be around anyone? There's so many different ways that everyone. Have you had a sudden death in the family?
Yeah.
More than one death. All of these things is what's triggering you to your awakening.
Yes.
Meet someone and all of a sudden they've been in your life and they just totally disappeared, and you're in pain and depression, or a lot of depression. All of that triggers part of your awakening, and that's a part of the end times to what is happening.
Yeah. All the old is shedding. It's like the snake shedding all the old skin. It's like the butterfly, or the caterpillar and its cocoon and the chrysalis and all the stuff, and then it sheds that and becomes this butterfly. Well, you guys are becoming butterflies, but you have to be willing to take that journey, to be able to go through the pain and dive deep within, in order to have the experience of coming out to be the butterfly and becoming out and having the snake be, this beautiful, reptile snake that sheds his skin. So that's what we're doing. We're shedding all the old. So,
Right.
hey, pretty exciting stuff coming up. So we're going to fill you guys all in on that, because more to come on the solstice. So I think we're going to dive more in that tomorrow, as well as I Am Horus. So, but you're going to love the rest of the show. So enjoy. Yeah. Love you guys.
Love you.
Yeah. I'm going to get through all the other stuff first. Okay, now we're recording.
Okay, so what does it mean?
That's Earth.
Uh-huh.
That's Mars.
Uh-huh.
That's Jupiter.
And which is Jupiter? This is Jupiter? And this is Mars.
That's
so what
Mars.
was the message you got when you were painting it?
Basically, we're all on a bridge to somewhere we don't even know.
We're on a bridge to somewhere we don't know?
Yeah, this is the bridge. This part right here. See
This is
that?
the bridge?
Yes, and we're on a path to somewhere that we don't know yet.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
See, I know that I realized I was on my spiritual journey that she channeled these things and paints it. Bring the painting you did with the black and white. And she starts painting it. So I knew it was significant. When I saw this, I knew this was the cosmos. Mars is supposed to go direct on June 29th. That's all I know, because I'm not an astrologist. But I know all the planets play something extremely significant for us with the solstice. And I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was just getting just one basic message. That's it, in my own backyard.
Okay, well, I want to hear that, because you know what? It's 115 here. 115. I was sat outside in 115-degree weather. I thought I was going to melt. My skin was going to come right off my skin, my body. 115.
This was what she did, the yin and the yang, back in May, which was a blended version of the yin and the yang instead of it being separated.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, Charlize.
The first painting you did, the original yin and yang.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I tell you what happened?
Yes.
I called my sister Sharon.
Oh. Right.
And I told her, I said, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's this tension between. She goes, oh yeah, I have. I know that. So we went through this whole thing, and I said, she goes, I don't know where it came from. And I said, well, I don't even really know either. Oh, wow.
when I first started out in my journey, she just and I said, "Who told you to draw that?" She said, "I don't know." And this is supposed to represent the people and a volcanic activity. And she was already picking up on premonitionally with the volcanoes that were going to start erupting to do with the awakening.
Wow.
So a lot of significant messages through her.
1115.
And this one she said, oh, 1115. Oh, I thought you were giving me a different painting. Oh,
No,
please.
same painting.
All right, let Linda finish her story. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I said, so we talked, and I said, you know, I don't really know where it stemmed from. And she goes, well, I think it stemmed from this. And I said, no, because we mended that thing. And then I heard it was me creating the story that she is going to think that I'm a failure, that Linda doesn't do shit. She, you know, she spent all that money and she's where she's at. And I made up this whole big story. And she goes, I never thought that. She goes, if anything, Linda, I'm jealous of you, because why do you think I tried to commit? Why she tried to commit suicide? She tried to slit her wrist, and then she ran away when she was 16, and she dropped out of school because my mom and dad kept saying, why can't you be more like Linda? Linda gets good grades. Linda does this. Linda does that. And I said, Sharon is not me. Don't compare us, right? And so she said, ever since I was little, everybody compared me to you. To be like Linda, Dad especially, be like Linda. So she said, if anything, I'm jealous of you because you're this and you're that. And I'm like, oh, and here I'm over going, you're this and you're that. And so anyway, we had a great conversation. I cried. She didn't, but whatever. Sharon's just not, she's very masculine.
Well, that's okay, because you making contact with her.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I knew it didn't really matter, but she's a very masculine.
It's triggering whatever masculinity that she has within her.
Yeah.
You're triggering it to start to, come together.
Yeah. Well, she told me, because she went to the hospital, I don't know if I told you, and she ended up in the hospital for 3 days because she fell to the ground. Her whole left side went numb. Well, and they did all these tests. They didn't find anything.
Left side is feminine.
Right. So they didn't find anything wrong. And you know what she said to me today? Oh, hold on, I get my food out of the oven.
Okay.
I don't want it to burn.
No, don't go anywhere.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Charlie's, where's that other painting? Where's that other painting? Well, obviously it's one that you haven't, that I haven't shown Linda. The one that I haven't shown Linda.
You showed her all them.
No, wasn't the one that I didn't show her? Oh, that was the what you call it? Never mind. What's that cartoon character thing? Mario. Right.
Okay, it's gonna be too hot to eat right now, but
yeah, I can taste it. Yeah.
So it was beautiful. And then she just told me, she said, well, I think the reason is what happened was she does all these pranic healing, like she's in level something or another, like a real high level. And they said for 1 year, do this once a week. And she did it 3 times a week. And then she did another high level. So she was doing these meditations, powerful meditations, like 5 days a week. And she said she thought it was too intensive for her body that it shut her chakra down. And
well, so because she's not balancing on her emotions, or tapping into her emotions. And that's why.
I didn't know how to.
It's like this instead of allowing it to be like this.
Yeah.
That's why it's hurting her body. Anything that we're not facing, it's going to hurt the physical temple. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, what she's saying is that, I think it's from this intense energy. I didn't let my chakras heal from the first when I did first the meditation, because she figured, well, instead of a year, I'll do it in 6 months. So if I do it 3 times a week, that'll get me closer to what I wanted to get. And they're like, no, because the energies are so intense. But anyway, so she was telling me about that, and
I'm busy. He's eating waffles for dinner.
I don't think so, Brandon. And I'm recording. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, it was just great. I just said, I love you too much, your family, and I don't want to have this tense energy, and I want to be able to call you, and I want to be able to have the conversations. We used to have conversations. She said, I love you too, and let's, so it was beautiful. It was great. All done, That
is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Interesting things too is you're talking about healing with your sister, how I had to end up bringing it out with you and for you at the
Well, I
same.
told her that. I told her the story of, I didn't tell her the deep, I just told her that there was a, with the show and everything, that I said how I felt, you said how you felt, and I started comparing myself to you, and then you had said there's some healing, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm healing with my sister.
You see how the mirror comes up within ourselves,
Yeah.
with things that we're to heal, and the thing that I had to heal within myself is not being heard. It's just, that was like a constant thing, not being heard, and my voice getting shut. And look at how the thing is working now.
Yeah.
Look at how it's working now. Amazing.
Yeah, and I didn't even go in under your name. I didn't have to do anything. So let me tell you what I wrote for our thing, and then we can talk about whatever you want to, whatever you want.
I said I was just going to tell you the message that I got when I went out.
Oh no, let me hear the message, and then I'll go in debt because I want to hear your message. I forgot about it. I'm sorry.
All I could feel was all of this energy of love coming from Ivan. It was just, even when I was sitting on the table eating, I felt my whole heart was just like opening up, opening up, opening up. So I left him a message indirectly, but I know he'll know it has to do with him. And this is on the my spy WhatsApp. No.
You got a spy account and you've got the regular account.
That's right.
Is it under a different alias name?
No, it's showing my name. That's why he knows to change the.
Oh.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like my heart just like, oh God. So this is what I said. Where is it?
Has he responded?
Oh no, this is not for him to respond. This is just to give him, for him to see the message, because I know he's gonna see the message.
Oh. Okay.
Because oh my God, now I'm getting it. When I was outside, I saw the clouds. Then there's these flowers that came up suddenly in my yard, and my yard looks so awful, Linda. I'm the kind of person that I'm a neat freak. I like to keep it, so my yard looks so terrible. It oh God, I can't describe it to you. So in the midst of how chaotic the yard looks all around, because my property is 0.96 acres, so it's almost an acre. And the grass is as tall as this, okay? So I looked up in the sky and I was like, well, I feel like as if there's a message in the clouds, but I just couldn't figure out what the message could be. So I was trying to see your formation. So it was either the numerical number 2 or the Z, like the letter Z, whatever. So I said, you know what, let me not try to make it more than maybe what it's not. So all I could hear was message in the clouds, and how much I'm just feeling this love coming from him. I just felt it, because I said, let me see what's coming from in my heart. So there wasn't any messages for me to get to do with the collective, nothing, just to stay right where I am to get the message. So I made sure to go outside exactly 6:34 p.m.
Me too.
And then I said, well, all I feel is just how much of that love, that's all I kept hearing, is just focus on love, focus on love coming from him. And it was just so powerful, and to receive the message in the clouds. And then the flowers, when I looked it up, because I was trying to figure out what kind of flowers is it, because there's so many species of flowers. So I tuned into my higher self, and I'm like, what flower is this? What flower is it? And they said it's a bell flower. So it's a purple bell flower, and I took a picture of it. I looked it up, and it represents humility and gratitude.
Oh, wow.
And funny enough, I was listening back to my recordings that Maya did when I had the last session with her.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said that, I asked her, how does Ivan feel now about me? And she said his soul self is in gratitude. So now I understand where the flowers, so it's almost like I'm getting the flowers from him in gratitude that came up through the grass. 3 sets were by themselves in one section, and there was one by itself in one section.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely amazing. And that was the message that I got. So I took pictures. I took several pictures. I don't know how much I could see it. I probably would have to send it to you on WhatsApp, because it's not gonna look that good.
Yeah, it's too long.
And that is how it came across to me. So I just thought it was just so amazing to get it like that. This is the stronger. How? What am I doing? Okay, wait. One thing. And it's so funny, but it's almost like there's quite a few other people that feel like, oh, whatever, it's always the same messages, and what else is new? What else is new? Because you know what? I think that it's supposed to be our own messages that we're to pay attention to now, not anybody else's.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but what does it mean?
What I mean is, like, you know, like before when, you know, we're getting messages from others, getting messages from others that we're trying to tune into what's going on now. So now it's about receiving and understanding our own messages that we're getting from our higher selves, from spirit. That's what I mean.
So, well, I know that, but I mean, so is it for us to look at, like what you were saying with what happened to you out in the yard, or is it signs from the universe, like synchronicities? Is that what you mean?
I'll explain to you. Give me 1 second. Okay, like, this was the message I left from him in the clouds, because basically the WhatsApp is almost like a message in the cloud, right?
It is, yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out, you know, message. Am I to receive a message? And then I'm just realizing it now as I'm talking to you what it means. So this was the message I was guided to, because I just didn't feel like as if I'm supposed to contact him directly. I'm just not getting the okay on that at all. And so I heard him telling me himself, no, he is the one that is to come to me, to come after me. Mm-hmm. So I wrote here, I will always be in your heart. We share the same soul essence. I feel you and you feel me. And then I left the heart symbol, the kiss, like the lips, mm-hmm. The actual kiss. Yeah, so that's what I left him. So I know he's going to see it when he opens up the profile. That's what I mean by him seeing it, because it's like when you put words on the thing that your profile. I heard
he will not only see it, but he'll feel it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll know that the message was meant to be for him.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
So like before when I would do a video, and I said, oh, the video is for the collective, but I feel like as if when I do that video, what I told you what I want to do, it's going to be just for him alone. It's not going to be for the collective to share. So this is about ourselves now. Like, it's time for us to be selfish with ourselves and what's sacred for us, you know? That's what I'm kind of feeling. So when I was talking about, when I said about us tuning into our own mm-hmm. Like, there was a message that I was giving to this young lady who's also a twin flame, and she said, oh, I got it already. I said, oh, but no, it's not the same one. It may look similar. She says, no, I got it already. And I realized that everybody else, whatever they're posting, is not feeling to me like before. I appreciate whatever I get from them, but it's just not resonating with me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same.
Mm-hmm. It's not the same like before. Like, oh yeah, that, you know, it's just different for me. So that's what I mean. What I'm feeling is if now it's time for us to focus on what we're tapping into for ourselves more than what somebody, because not everyone's journey is the same. Because I said to her, she says, oh, you know, I'm bored of, she was talking about one of them, particular of her updates, and we manifest based on others' beliefs if we aren't careful. So I then said to her, I manifest my own beliefs from different ways. I already feel high within myself, because most people, they say, oh, we're waiting to get to the 5th dimension. I'm like, shit, I passed the 5th dimension for so long. I tell you, I feel like as if I was up to 40, because I remember when I asked for this, I said, well, how far? Because I could feel when my entire soul essence just whoosh like that. Mm-hmm. And I had 2 dreams to do it. My soul expanded. My soul was so expanded, Linda. And I knew what it meant. I knew what it meant. And it didn't feel like, oh, I'm going to be at that place. I was already there. Right. So Spirit was already showing to me. And I do explain that it's not about one person being better. It's just like I describe it, like going to college or making a decision to go to college, and you go for your degrees and you have a bachelor's, and then you have a bachelor's to the 5th power, then you have your master's to the 10th power, and you have your PhD, and then that's what it's like. Mm-hmm. That's what it's basically like. So it depends on each person, not necessarily their level of consciousness, but how much are they seeking to know? How much are they wanting to know? How much are they keeping up with everything that's going on? Because even some of the stuff that I predicted already with those other planets that are out there, because the spirit showed me that there are more planets that are out there that people are not aware of, and they're not keeping up with the news to know about it.
I know, but see, then the question would be is that if I'm a listener, why do I even want to know that? What does those other planets have to do with me?
Because the other planets have to do with us knowing that that's who God is. Mm-hmm.
Right, but if you're not in that place of, do you know what I mean? That's not enough. That's not enough to grab, you know what I mean? If they're not in that space, and even if they are, I'm still going, well, I don't know. I mean.
And then I say, if you don't know, then the question is, do you want to know? If not, then you're going to remain in the dark.
Right. And so why would I want to know? How is it going to, because the thing is, everybody wants to know, how is it going to benefit me? What's the benefit for me? That's just how we are as creatures. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the benefit is that is either you want to know the truth or you still continue to live based on lies.
But the thing is,
it's a choice.
Absolutely. But the truth versus lies. So we've lived for so long where we're at. So what if knowing the truth, how is that going to change? Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying that I know what you're saying. It's beneficial, but for me to seek that information, because what you like to seek, maybe somebody else doesn't. But if you're seeking, right, because that's part of your being, but that may not be research and something for somebody else. But now if it has to do with how it's going to affect their life in the long run, then maybe there's a need to know. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you might want to watch the news because there's a volcano or an earthquake that's coming to hit San Diego next week. Possibly, but you may want to be prepared. So it's good to have the news, right? So now they've got the news that what's coming, and they get to make the choice. Well, do I want to get earthquake insurance? Do I want to be prepared? How am I going to be prepared? Do I want to get or am I going to trace in faith that, you know what, I'm going to stay right in the building and trust that God has a bigger plan for me and not do anything because there's enough faith in that person. You know what I mean? I don't, you know what I mean? That's what I mean.
And then my question is, what is the reason why do you watch the news? Is to be informed, right? And so throughout life, they say you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. So there's times in our lives where we can choose to seek to know, to understand, so that way life can begin and continue to become easier for ourselves. And a part of what's happening is for people to understand that we are in the end times, which is not a doomsday, it's the beginning, a new beginning of time. And that means a lot of things are ending for us on the planet, heading towards, and it's already started, to new beginnings. So whether you like it or not, it's already happening. Whether you choose to seek to know, it's still happening. It's not stopping.
That's happening no matter what.
Happening no matter what. So there's a cause and effect, and an effect cause.
Right, and whatever we do affects that cause.
That's right. And the planets, all of the planets, because this is what was shown to me in that frequency. So people say, well, why do I want to hear what Nefertiti said? Because I'm aligned with the planets and I came from one of the planets. So I'm in communication with the planets. I'm hearing all these messages. And so all of the planets are in alignment with everything that is happening to each and every one of us. Every lifetime that we have incarnated, we have been born different times, under a different astrological sign. So this is all of everything in humanity's history that's coming together, it's almost like being in a compression belt and everything is being compressed. That's why I was feeling confused about which part of my life was I first in, Isis, Nefertiti, Aphrodite, and it was like this is what it felt like, something pushing, like this, and then I had to just release it and say, you know what, it doesn't matter, because it's like everything is just coming together, everything that's purging out, and then what's staying with us, whatever is purging out and staying with us. So this is what it's like. It's like this, and it goes this way, it comes up, then we're going this way, then it comes up, then it goes this way, then we come back down again. So
right, but I would still say, okay, so you have the messages, right? Now I'm playing sort of the devil's advocate. I'm playing like if I was a listener, like, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to make it to where this is the conversation, right? Because then they're going to be like, I'm answering questions that they want to hear, or I'm asking the question. So okay, so you have the messages. So a lot of other people have messages. They may not be Queen Nefertiti. They may be Archangel Michael. So if you're saying one thing, and maybe it's not Archangel Michael, but it's Cleopatra, whatever, you know what I mean? So everybody's going to have different messages. Why would I trust what you have to say is truth versus what Cleopatra has to say is truth? Oh, wait, I got to tell you this before you answer that, because this is going to kind of say something to what we're just talking about.
Okay.
So you had left me a message. Oh, fudge. I know I've got it. Oh, crap. What were we just talking about?
Well, let me answer.
Nefertiti. So why would Nefertiti? Because this is what I wrote down based upon something that you said, but I don't know if this has anything to do with what you just said, because the question I was saying is why would your truth?
It is the same line of questioning. It's the same line.
Okay, so what I wrote down from the other day, what you in your answer to what I had said to you is why would anybody want to hear Nefertiti? And you had said something, and what I wrote down in the courts, isn't it interesting that they say, raise your right hand, and they give you an oath to say the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
That's where I come in, the whole truth. Because
right, okay, so I wrote that down, and you talked about competition. We are taught and programmed from the time we are very little. There's a winner, there's a loser. There's always competition. It's always in games, it's in sports, it's in everything, it's in business, that's that whole red carpet thing that I didn't get a chance to tell you about that happened all because of competition.
Well, guess what? Pause. The one thing that I've heard
from... Can we pause here?
No. I'm saying...
Oh. I'm like, okay, I'll pause.
No, I'm saying you pause so I get the answer in so I don't forget, which is why I told you to record this. That the one thing that exists on the other side that someone had asked, when we die and leave out of the body, when I say the other side, as I've always said before, do we do the same things? Yes, we do. And sports does take place on the other side. The difference is it's not competitive sports. Nobody becomes a winner or a loser. It's only for fun. That's what the games turn out to be. So it's not about an aggressive type of energy where we're trying to outrun the other, outdo the other. That's the reason why I am so grateful for you being who you are, because I realized that what was happening through the both of us was an exercise of what the twin flame dynamic is, and also how we're going to be operating on the planet where there's no competition, that you realize and know the gifts and the talents that you have. I know the gifts and talents that I have, and how do we blend it together? Yeah. And that means it's a part of surrendering to one another and also standing in our power at the same time, which has not been done before because it was always one-sided through different centuries.
Right.
So now this is how we come into partnership together, and it's not about feeling bad about how we feel. This is about us speaking our truth, and that's a part of being authentic. You see? And you just feel lighter. You feel lighter when that happens. And what happens is when it's a coming together, it's a combined force, not anything force, and it becomes more powerful. You see? You see, it's like you're asking a question, and then I'm still standing in my truth and my power with what I know and what I'm receiving, whether it's in the moment or something, because it's something that I may say 2 weeks ago. I may not say it the same way, but I'm still receiving the same information. And you are also channeling information too at the same time. And you and I have a rapport where it's not about like, dang, oh, she's saying some shit that I want to say. Well, no. You know, and that's how people come across when they feel they're competing and think that one is going to get a better prize than the other, you know, be better, best, you know. And that's why, and that's one thing that I don't raise my children to compete with each other, regardless of, you know, whether or not they've had the same father or who has what talents, because they're all talented and gifted in their own way.
Absolutely.
And one thing that all of my children have that my friends observe and say about them is that they don't have low self-esteem. So I think self-esteem plays a major issue on whether another person chooses to feel that they have to compete.
True. Yeah. Because I don't have any self-esteem, where my little sister, I'm thinking she's really got a lot of self-esteem, right? And in actuality, she's feeling very little and thinks that I have, that I'm confident. And I can be very confident, like just in asking these questions, I could see where, you know, this is how I would like to, this is how it to me would roll, right? where it's asking those questions that I feel that need to be asked, because I'm asking you, not that I don't believe in you, but I'm asking it for humanity, saying, well, okay, you're Queen Nefertiti delivering messages from Queen Nefertiti, and I'll tell you what I wrote in this thing that for the Wednesday show, but also, and from spirit. So, but why do I want to hear those messages, and what makes you say it's the truth and only you, right? When there's other people that are channeling, and they might be saying, well, hey, I've got information that's just as valid as her,
Okay, so this is the difference with me as Nefertiti, is that it's not about me saying that I have the only truth. It's about me bringing all the truths together. So I'm bringing everything together as the collective. Okay? That's the collective consciousness, and not any separation of everyone's individuated.
Right. So
all the truths still lead to something that is to benefit each person, depending on which soul group they're a part of. You know what I mean?
So
because we're all in separate categories of soul groups and coming together. And the one thing that I trust and know is that the spirit is always going to lead you up to what you're to know at the time when you're ready. The difference with me compared to other spiritual teachers is that I'm very detailed, and I come across with no judgment whatsoever, and love and laughter and joy and dancing. That's the difference. And it's an individual choice. It's either you want to get little bits and pieces here and there, or connecting to me where you'll get the entire truth put together.
Right.
And being able to explain it that even a child can understand. So that's the difference with me.
Okay, and so what I wrote down, which is interesting, because I don't know what the entail of this is, but you know how they say all roads lead to?
I'm about to say all roads still lead to God.
Okay, all truths lead, and what I wrote down was to love.
Right, which is God still. God.
Exactly. So all truths lead to God. Well, because then you've got people out there that are, oh my God, if you say the God word, I'm going to freak out, or, they're whatever, they're traumatized, or, So, but I just wrote down all truths lead to love, but I had a question mark because I didn't know what you were going to say all truths lead to, because you didn't finish. And so I wrote down the word love, and then I wrote next to it, all roads lead to God.
Lead to God, which is love, because we are love.
Yeah.
Love, and that's what God is all about, is love, total.
Yeah. So I think I need to add that into the and maybe that could be the title, all truth leads to love. Well, I'll tell you what I'll show you what, let me tell you what I wrote. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a show too anyway.
Huh?
I think we're doing a show anyway right now.
Oh, no, I've been eating, and no, I need to smile more or something. No, this is not, yeah.
Trust me, someone's going to hear this show.
Oh, whatever. I'm gonna block you with my words, so here. I just kind of blocked you out. Can you say
natural? Because you know what? It feels natural for me. I don't have to feel like as if I'm rehearsing anything. So that's why it feels natural.
No, it feels very natural for me too. I'm in my element. So, but I just feel like I've been eating the whole time, and you wanted me to record, and I talked about my sister, and I don't.
That's what makes it natural.
I know, but I don't want my sister. You know what I mean?
I know, but hey, I was talking about Ivan. Hey, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, that's different. Okay.
No, it's not. I let out my secret.
Whatever. Okay, listen to me. Okay, the Golden Truth Raw and Real presents messages from Queen Nefertiti in spirit. You ask, why would I want to hear messages from Queen Nefertiti in spirit? What does that have to do with where we are today? We know of Queen Nefertiti through the history lessons in school. If we learn this, then there is some direct correlation that has to do with what we need to hear in the time in our history. We know that many things occurred just based on the writings on the walls and the pyramids and such. Whomever wrote those messages and where they came from intended for us to find in the perfect divine timing to the right people to shift our consciousness. Well, that time has come, and the messages are coming loud and clear, visibly in the world and within ourselves. You definitely won't want to miss out on the opportunity to be a part of this conversation on our new platform, Zoom. Join us by clicking on blah, blah, blah. Oops. Oh, gosh.
What?
Oh, I had you all over the place. So that's what I wrote.
Yes. And also too, what makes it interesting about myself as Nefertiti, what the significance and the difference is that this is also a part of me as Isis, where we go back into the past and bring it into the present. This is the resurrection of ourselves, the what do you call it? I wouldn't call it recycling, but more rewinding and come again is what I say, like music, you know. It's like when you want to hear it, but you know, we're doing it in a different way, a newer, higher version of ourselves, you know, bringing. And a part of me, how I know who I am, that I am, is that I have the ability to bring all the pieces together. I have the ability to bring us all together. I have the ability to understand all of everything, multi-dimensional, you know, and multifaceted.
But how do you do that? How do you have the ability? What does that look like, bringing all things together?
It's just a gift that I have. I mean, I was just born with that gift. I've been that way before I even knew who I was. So.
But what does it look like to bring all that together? So when you say bringing, what all are you bringing together? What is the all?
I look at it as I described myself before like an octopus. Like, you know, you have all the tentacles, and all the tentacles represent all of humanity in different aspects of ourselves. You know, how we have separated ourselves according to religion, culture, female, male, children, adults, young, old, you know, all the different ways that we have separated ourselves. So I understand what it means to bring ourselves back together again. All the things that we've experienced in life that has been painful for us, and I have the ability to tap in and to tune into what is it that is needed to work through each individual, each person. And each time that we allow ourselves to be open to understanding what it is and how we can keep on, but this is dependent on the person saying, hey, I am ready to face myself. I'm ready to face the truth, and I am really ready to hear what's going on with me, raw and real. See, that's where that becomes significant. But if you're running away and not wanting to face it, you're going to just keep going in that same karmic cycle over and over again.
Well, the same things, the patterns will still keep repeating themselves because we're not willing to look at it. And a lot of people will work their butts off in their job and, you know, 12, 24, whatever, 18 hours a day so they don't have to feel and shove things under the carpet.
Right, but not only that, I'm even talking about, I'm going a step further. I'm talking about those that are even on their spiritual path.
Yes.
They're thinking that whatever they're doing is enough.
Yeah.
It's about how we allow ourselves to go deeper into ourselves, wider, so we can come back up higher as we're balancing out all the aspects of ourselves. Because that's why I'm so glad this is a visual, because I can now show what it's like for me, how I see things, you know. This is what looks like, I forget what they call it, the flower, you know, the flower with all the grids and all that stuff. And so it's like, it's all these grid points and all these.
The lotus?
No, not the lotus. It's, I forgot what that flower is. It's a flower, and it's so, the flower of life. It is the flower of life. And it has so many different aspects. It looks like a hexagon, you know, because we are mathematics. We are mathematics. Okay, we're comprised of formulas, mathematics, symbols. We are connected with sounds, music, tones, on all different levels, you see? And we're on different frequency bands, you know? So you can't see it, but you can feel it because it's all energy.
Right.
So if your frequency levels are quite a bit low, and there's something to working within whatever frequency where you're at with your level of consciousness, and someone else might be over here to the left. So I have the ability to go into each individual person all at the same time.
Right.
Be able to see what and to feel what it is there to work on. And sometimes it might be just one little thing, and then all of a sudden they'll be triggered, and then they're unplugged from that part for them to shift within themselves. And they might shift and go up, and they might stay right there, or they might go up again some more. Right. And sometimes what happens is we might end up looping into another energy cycle of something that we've experienced before. And it's not necessarily tied to just this lifetime. It's other lifetimes that we constantly go in that loop. It is extremely important to understand that the loops that are creating is especially showing to ourselves based on each person that we are in contact with. That's the significance of twin flames, because twin flames is what shows us like bam in your face, like what you're looking at. And so also our soulmates, you know, because you're a soulmate for me. You're a soulmate, and you're a twin soul. Because now I know there's a difference between a twin flame and twin rays, and twin rays. And it's something that's still reflected, but there's a difference between two. When I said, oh my God, you do the same things I do. Oh, you think the same way I think, you know, da 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 da. Yeah. And still, I see now what they're, because everything we're looking at it from different perspectives. Right. That's the reason how I come into the picture as Nefertiti Isis, because I see things, I can see things in each person's eyes, how they view things, how they understand what they're feeling. I'll give you an example. My grandson, when his parents were getting ready to leave, and his mom was holding him, and I said, "You're not going anywhere. You're gonna stay." You know, he was saying bye to me. He's saying bye like this, you know. So I said, "No, you're not going anywhere. You're gonna stay with grandma. You're gonna stay with grandma." You know what he did? He waved bye to his parents. He knows that if I say you're staying with me, he's saying bye to his parents, and his parents, I say bye to grandma, and he's saying bye to me, like he knows he's gonna go with his parents. It's so interesting. It's so awesome. So you see how even though he can't speak, he still has the ability to perceive and understand what each one means. Now, he didn't look at it as a baby like, oh, that means my mommy and daddy don't want me. No, he understood on his level of understanding, as little as he is, how smart, intelligent that little baby is, that he knew what we were talking about. He knew. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
So if we allow ourselves to understand the same way, just like a child, because really truly coming back to that childhood thing is not going back into childhood, but being as a child, you know, as gentle as a child, as meek as a child. That's the word, meek as a child. Mm-hmm. It allows you, but if you allow ego to come in the midst of working your way through all of this, then you're just gonna keep hitting the wall like that.
Well, and I know too, people, you know, in different seminars, it's like, get rid of the ego, and it's like, no, the ego's there to protect us. You don't get rid of the ego. So, you know, so you're saying, you know, that's the ego. So,
well, the ego is easing God out, Linda. You know that.
Huh?
Right? Ego is really easing God out. Did you know that?
Oh, that's a good analogy of that. I didn't know that.
It is. Because usually the ego means that you're kind of saying, well, what I'm feeling and thinking and believing is that I'm right. Mm-hmm. And there's no need for me to want to know any further, for me to understand anything further. So you're not allowing the part that you're connected to with God to come in and to direct you and to guide you and to lead. Mm-hmm. And that's a part of staying connected to the Christ consciousness until we become fully crystallized, you know, with that connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just was reading something about that Christ consciousness. That's we're coming into that. Mm-hmm. We're coming into that that time, or I don't want to even call it a time, but well, time. It is really coming into that.
Yep. So much data to share. A lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wrote down Queen, what messages. So I think that, like, you know, you have messages to deliver, so, you know, to humanity. And so what does that really look like or sound like or feel like of messages? Like, what is it that she's bringing? I mean, because we're talking about back in history of Queen Nefertiti, right? So what is in relationship today, and what can she provide to us that's going to make different changes in the world that something else wouldn't provide?
What I'm providing, once again, is how I am able to help all of us to come back together to ourselves, all right? The connection we have to ourselves, the connection we have to our beloveds, the connection that we have together as divine families, because I also work with the energy of how we come together as a family. Okay, so we have our individuated selves, our individuation as far as our beloveds, and then also the divine families, and then we work our way towards divine communities, and then the divine world. You see, and I know what it means and how it feels to have everything come together, because that's how I live my life with my children.
Yeah.
I'm an example of that. So, you know, one of the best ways that I find, which I stated to you earlier today, to be able to teach others is because of my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I read it, you know, somewhere in a book or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who comes around me, they say, oh, you know, I just have the ability to bring things together.
Yeah.
Like, Sharon, just take you, to be you. And it was always a part of me to always bring things together all the time and not separating according to anything whatsoever. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So the messages I have are divine messages. I've always had divine messages. I've always been observing the planet since I was 3 years young, as I remember, always. And it always would sadden my heart to see how people treated one another, even in pictures of myself when I was a little girl and I saw these bags under my eyes. I'm like, dang, I sure didn't look too happy, you know? And anytime anybody was bullied in school or bothered or anything, I'd be very quiet in school. But as soon as I saw anyone being bothered, I'd jump right in and I'm ready to protect them. So I have this part of me that's protective. I'm very protective, especially over children. I am, even my friends, you know, this is a part of me as Isis when I really know that I am her. My friends, you know, not together, separately, they say, Sharon, you're always like a mother to everybody. You're always like a mother. You're so motherly. And I'm like, so, you know, so that's that part of me. Every child's like, it's like if you have your child, it's like, oh, how's my son? How's my daughter? Where's my daughter? I haven't seen them in a long time. And kids always, you know, wanting to come around me and stuff like that. So I always do. And then I just have the ability to help. Like, I don't take sides. I'm right here in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like sometimes people are shocked about my age because I blend in, you know, even my friends say, Dad, you blend with the 20-year-olds and
yeah,
the 10.
That's me too. Yeah, blend right in.
Blend right in. You can't tell with my personality, everything. And then, you know, those who are a little older, I come across with wisdom, so they know that, oh, she's not a baby. I'm like, yeah. You know. So then I also have the ability to deal with those who are of the opposite sex too, males, females. It doesn't matter, young, old. Doesn't matter what culture. Doesn't matter where they're from. There's just something about my energy that always brings things together with peace and love and laughter, especially laughter. I mean, oh my God, off the chain. Once I'm ready to start, it just doesn't stop. When I'm in that element, I mean, I'll have you in tears.
Yeah.
And I realized that was written about me, not necessarily as Nefertiti, but it was written about me as Aphrodite, that she was here for love and laughter, like a lot of, and that's me, constant laughter, you know, when the time comes, just laughing. So what better way to bring anyone together is through all of that. And so it's how do we bring in all those elements of ourselves, love, laughter, peace, joy,
Yeah.
You know, making love, everything together in combination. Everything. Nothing.
Well, it's definitely like we've talked before that it's where you are bringing in going into the self-love. You have to go within yourself. You have to. I mean, it's just an inside job, and you can't get out of it. You can't get away from it. It's just it'll find you. And so, yeah, it's just in order to, I think, in order to do anything else, you have to go within inside yourself.
You have to.
So
Running away from it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues on the planet too that has also contributed to chaos, what I'm also here for, is the improvement when it comes to communication. Very important. Communication on the planet sucks, and that's the word I have to use. It sucks.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. Same thing here. It's like that's why I feel with the radio show that it's using my voice, but it's also because I'm all about raising the consciousness and awakening humanity to open their hearts, right? To raise their consciousness, to have them shift their perspective, see something different. And I think it's just a really good way through the radio show and through conversation, to be able to shift one's perspective, to see something different, to see why would I want to watch that? Why would I want to listen? Why would I want to do anything? And so I feel that's where I have the voice. That's where it's like sharing my voice and being able to voice that, because I too have a lot of wisdom and I can talk on many, many subjects, And just because it comes natural. So it's just like whatever I'm tuning into, you know, and it's not from going to school, it's from my own experiences that I've gone through. It's like, where'd you go to school? University. The universe is my school, you know, as people would say, it could be the school of hard knocks, you know, and a lot of that too. So it's just very interesting, you know, how you can, but you definitely have to dive in first.
Yes, it's very, very important. It's very important. I mean, like I joke around and I said, well, you can run, but you can't hide.
Nope.
You can't hide from it, and it's very painful because even what happened between us the few days ago.
The what?
What happened between us a few.
Oh yes.
This is what it felt like. Like something was just grinding in me, and I was like, oh my God, you know, it was like. I didn't want to feel what I was feeling, but I knew I had to face what I was feeling. So the best part about it is that I knew the minute I said, I choose to understand instead of running away from it. So even though I said I couldn't talk to you, it's like I felt like if I felt like as if if I spoke to you any sooner, I would probably felt like I was gonna vomit, because it was like something that was coming through with the collective consciousness also. And it was something that was
not terrible. It sounded really bad. If I thought I was going to talk to you, I was going to vomit.
Really, that's what it feels like. It feels like something that wants to come out, but in a very bad way. And the thing about it is that the competition is not just with males. I mean, females. With females, it's also the females and the males. That's the biggest competition of all. That's the biggest competition of all. It's always who wants to overtake or seem as if appearing to overtake with the other.
Or who wants to be the first one? Who's going to make the first phone call? Who's going to be the one that's going to reach out first? Oh, no, it should be the man. Oh, I'm an old school fashion wearer or whatever, old school where the guy has to court me and whatever, you know, because, and that's a whole other dialogue in itself, too.
Exactly. Because you sit and wait and you know, and stuff like that. It's a great balancing act when it comes to relationships on a whole. Like, even people say, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship. Well, guess what? You're in a relationship already.
Exactly.
The minute you are in contact with someone, whether you're estranged from them or not, it's still a relationship.
You're still in a relationship with yourself. I mean, you're dealing with yourself all the time.
Exactly. So each person that you're avoiding, they are an extension of you that you're avoiding. And anytime you try to avoid anyone, it's something that you're avoiding within yourself, and it's a big mirror. So that's where twin flames come in. It's that's like a gigantic, humongous mirror. It's like,
not going down that road.
It's like you're frozen in time. Like, oh my God, what is this? You know, but the best thing you can do when you're facing these things is, of course, laughing it off if you can, and to muster up a laugh. Remember, that's what happened with the show when we couldn't get my voice, hearing my voice. It was, and look at how it ended up starting. And you see the dichotomy I was talking about, Linda, when I said how we label, because I said, well, those dark son of a bitch forces, those motherfuckers, they can fall for all I can, right?
Yeah, we did.
You see, and I thought about it and I said, well, shit, if that shit didn't happen, then, you know, where would we be right now?
Exactly. You know? We wouldn't have come to the realization, and I wouldn't have come also to the healing that I had to do with my sister. That was a part of my own healing. It had nothing to really do with her. It was a story that I created of myself, and that I separated. I am the one that decided to disconnect the relationship with her. So, I mean, all that wouldn't have happened. And that's what I was telling her, that, you know, this was a really good thing. So really what we're saying is that when these things come in, and I've always believed, and it's hard to believe this sometimes, and when it's happening to you, that there is a positive in everything. I mean, even when you have a child that dies, or a child that commits suicide, or an adult, it doesn't matter. There's always a blessing. Maybe in a past life, you committed suicide and your parents had to suffer. So in this lifetime, you had to feel what it was like for the suffering. Now, I don't know if that's the truth, but I'm just saying that there's a positive in everything. And if we could see And it's sometimes it's really hard. And I know for myself, it's been very, very hard to go, it's a little hard to see any positivity in here. But once and this is what I have shared in my own coaching, is that if you can become the observer and stand back and see yourself looking down on that situation, seeing the dialogue or whatever's happening, and see like, oh, wow, that is very interesting. What is really going on here? Because now you're coming from the observer's point, right? And then you wonder, who really is the observer? Who is the observer watching that happen?
It's yourself, because, you know, people think that
Right.
judgment is about, you know, someone is judging you or God is judging you on the throne. But no, you're really the one that's making observation.
Yes. Yes.
And you said it so perfectly, because one of the things that I was so happy about was that you just really understood what I was saying, and knew and said, hey, I'm going to call my sister. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. You're like a rare form, Linda, because I can't begin to tell you how many other people that I try to tell them. And it's like, I know you get offended, and then I don't hear from them for days. And I'm like, well, you know, what can I say? Because I'm not the one that's going to sugarcoat things if I see what I feel. Because the minute something comes out of someone's mouth that they're offended, annoyed, triggered, angry, frustrated, whatever, you know, element that is as far as an emotional aspect of themselves, that is a sign. That's your clue right there. You know, what do I need to work on? Well, make a list of all the people that piss you off.
Yes.
Get you mad, because, you know, they said the truth will set you free, but at first it's going to piss you off.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it.
Not going to like it.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing with me too is that that's one thing that I'll have to say about myself. It's a constant growth of journey. I love journeying. I love sometimes I don't. I mean, that was a very, well, anything you go through is not pleasant, but I know what I know is that going through this, there is something positive that's going to come out. There is something for me to heal, because whenever we are triggered or whenever we react to something, it is something coming up from a childhood or something we created. Because, you know, as little kids, I know in my own childhood that I created a lot of stories that were nothing was ever said, but I created that story, and it's like, oh my God, that's my truth. And it's like, nobody ever, and I even told my sister, I said, you never even said or did anything for me to create this. I, with my own imagination, created this because of how I felt. So I was projecting onto you, which is what we do a lot. We project our own crap onto everybody else, right? So I projected this onto her, which caused separation.
Yeah, and sometimes the person has no idea that that's what you were.
She had no idea. She was like, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was from this time, maybe it's from that time. But I don't want to, you know, I keep bringing up that story because of people, you know, for people listening or whatever. This is going to go out. I'm sure it will.
And Linda, that's where communication comes in, because there are people right now, as we speak, on the planet that are holding things in their heart for years and years, unnecessarily, because of misunderstandings, misinterpretations, okay, and missed signals. Everything's missing or dissing, you know.
But you have to be in
the levels of perspectives and the levels of understanding with the perspectives, because you have the perspectives and then you also have the understandings, and then you put them together, and what do you have? All this jumbling up of stuff.
Yeah. But they have to be in that place to be able to receive, right? But I think it also is important for us to be able to, when we are communicating, we communicate from the heart. Because if you're communicating from the head, that could be mind, ego. But when you communicate from the heart, that's the truth. That's how I feel. So it comes across a lot differently. So I think that, I think that when you're communicating is to really pay attention of how you're communicating that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, when you hold on to that energy, I always said, I wrote an article on this, dis-ease causes disease. So that energy is harboring inside of you that is not going anywhere, and it's festering, and it's going to be, it could become something, or who knows what could happen. You know, I'm not, you know, the expert on that, but I just know that dis-ease will cause disease. I mean, stress or, you know, upset or pain, because it's all lower energies. And then we know when you're in a lower energy, you're going to manifest lower. You're not manifesting what you want. You're going to manifest where you're at.
Exactly. One of the things, what I'm glad that you mentioned also, before I forget, is that when you said I created a story, most people don't take responsibility in knowing that they're creating constant stories.
Yeah.
What do you mean by constant stories? You keep talking about the same shit over and over again, over and over. And I tell people, I said, go back and, I tell them, I said, how can you understand what stories? How can you tell? Record yourselves.
Yeah.
I talk about it in my book. I said, record yourselves. Listen to yourself when you're talking.
Yeah.
Listen to your actions. I'm pretty sure your actions. Listen to them. Pay attention to your actions and listen. Record, videotape yourselves and audio tape yourselves and say, oh, shit. Dag, I am repeating the same thing. Yes, you are.
Yep.
Yes,
And you know what I did when I was doing the coaching and stuff like that, and having two people, I have that person write their story of what the story they keep telling, write the story, and then let the other person sit in front of them. That person make no emotions, no nothing, very straight face, and just listen. And that person keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating until they're like, oh my God, this is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yes.
Right? And then you have them rewrite the story as to what they would desire.
And that's
because eventually you'll get so tired of hearing your own story, you're like, oh my God, like I've been telling the story for how many years now?
And
Very
that's
powerful.
the difference of what we're doing now is we are rewriting our stories, okay?
Yeah.
Where it is no longer a story, and all we're doing is just existing in the now. No more going back into the stories. All the stories can now go into the Akashic records that don't serve us anymore, that would no longer bring us joy and happiness. But with doing all of this, like what you did when you started talking about your story, and you knowing is that you took responsibility.
Yeah.
If you don't take responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, and all that stuff, because it's so easy, people like to play the blame game. Oh, he said this and she did that. Da, 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 da. It's a reflection.
Well, when you're pointing fingers, you got three pointing back at you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And to me, as I always keep saying, is experience is the greatest teacher. And that's what you said. Something that you experience. And you see, look at how when I just dropped into your life too, right? Vice versa. And here I am having the same name as your sister that you were trying to avoid. So Sharon.
And that's what I told her too. I said, wouldn't you go figure that the person I have to mend what I'm doing with is my sister, and the person who brought the attention to me to say, hey, you know what, you're comparing yourself. And actually, and like I said, when I first was talking about that story, that we couldn't even figure out where it happened, the disconnect, until I heard in that moment. That's what I heard, is that I was the one that did it, that created the story. So how many times have we created a story around something that happened? So many times that we want to look at it this way because we don't want to take fault, or we don't want to take blame, and we don't want to take responsibility. Well, you know what? Guess what? Makes a big difference when you take your own responsibility for you.
And the more you project and put it out there to how you're feeling or whatever, is the more you're inviting that experience to come into your life. Because even myself, I remember when I was so hesitant to put the segments out there. And I even was like saying, oh, maybe if this person heard this, they're going to feel bad. And then I'll feel bad. And then we all feel bad. You know, and I just kept going on, and I was like, you know something? Forget this. This is crazy. And I had to just let it go, because I had to really come to that place, or I chose to come to that place where I trust what I was receiving in terms of messages, and I trust and know who I am, and I trust and know that whatever I put out there is for the greater, is for the greater good and for our highest good and our highest best. Yeah. And so a part of that also comes with along the lines of self-acceptance.
Right.
Self-acceptance. For you, I was also getting a message for you while you were talking to your sister, because you said that she comes across with more masculine energy. So the part of her that was reflecting with you balancing out yourself, because this is how I'm able to tap into and to tune into whatever it is that person is working on, is that you are working on balancing out your masculine and feminine energy through a female, okay? Which also helps you towards your own healing to do it yourself, and the relationship that you have with yourself and also your beloved, okay? Because, because
I understand that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like there would have been something that would have been repelling, like, oh, she's powerful, she's beautiful, she's strong within herself, but do I feel like as if I'm gonna have to compete with her, you know, and that is what will come across to the masculine, you know, and that's the part with you that's battling between, you know, this is who I am, but then, you know, no, I'm going to take over here, and no, you're not. Yes, I am. And this is what it is, like a tug of war. That's what reflects. Because just like how I said, when it hit me like a light bulb, when I left you the message on WhatsApp, and I said, wait a minute. I said, oh, that's what because, you know, sometimes when you're getting a message from someone, like you could hear it now, but then you come to a greater realization later on.
Yes.
That's why I love recording things, because then I can go back to it and reflect on it and say, oh, wow, now I understand, I have a greater meaning. Because that time when Maya said to me, she says, you know, you're powerful and Ivan is powerful. And 2 or 3 people said the same thing to me. And it says, but this is about knowing you have the power within yourself, not power of another, and how do you come together with the power that you have? You know, they call it powers maybe, or whatever you know, it may be. And it makes a lot of sense. So the same thing, more likely, was coming through with Lord, and in terms of a power play, you know, something that, and it's not because you're conscious of it. It's just something that reflects between both at the same time. This is magical.
So that he would feel that he would have to be competitive with me
in a certain way.
In a certain way. Which, that makes sense.
Remember you said that how when he kissed your hand, that's not what you would have wanted, because you would have expected him to probably say, how do I love thee? Let me come do it.
Or kiss me on the lips instead of no, or now he wanted to shake my hand. You mean at the end?
Yeah, when he said he shake your hand, but he didn't necessarily take you by the hand and say, oh, let me love you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he didn't do that, yeah.
Right. You know, this is a teaching thing. I love this. It's like a learning curve, because, you know, like for myself, it's like when I met Ivan, and that time when he met me the first time, and I had on my short skirt, and he's like, oh, where's the rest of your clothes? I'm like, don't start. So it's like, I like to dress sexy, look sexy, and feel sexy, because this is who I am, and always been there. When I think about Tom and Jerry Carter, for some reason, Tom and Jerry Carter was like, is you in my baby?
Oh, that's so funny. Hold on, I got to turn on my light because I feel like I'm very in the dark here, because it's got dark out now.
Okay.
Let me just turn the light on. Bring some light into here.
Yes, ma'am.
Bring a little light. Oh, that's much better.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh my gosh, that is much better. Oh yeah, I don't feel so in the dark. Okay.
Great analogy.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's so funny that, you know, I talk about Tom and Jerry, because this young man that I met on Facebook today, and whatever led up from one thing to the next, and I went scanning through his timeline, and I saw he had posted something about don't you believe it. I was like, oh shit, that's the same thing I posted a few months back. I said, let me go look at that, because he said he went through one of my segments in one of the Twin Flame groups, and he was like, Dad, I need to party with you. And I was like, sure, come on, you know.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
So out of curiosity, I said, let me see which segment is it, because I'm not keeping track of which one. And it's the one where I'm playing the salsa. That's down, 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 down. And I was like, oh yeah, baby. So when I said, so I went back and I found that segment with Tom and Jerry. Don't you believe it? Because I said, you know, I scratch my head sometimes because I keep it very real. You know, I said, if you know you tell somebody something that doesn't work and they go back and do the same thing again, like, Dad, are you a dummy? You know? And so, you know, this is about if God is trying to tell you something and the same thing is repeating in your face over and over again. That's at that point when I found the Tom and Jerry segment and I heard God say in my head, don't you believe it?
But you know what the thing is that that's the thing is that, you know what, it's being asleep. You know what I mean? It's not.
No. That's not even dealing with the subconscious yet.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm just talking about just basic fucking common sense. That's it. Common sense, okay?
Yeah.
You know that you hire somebody that's not qualified, but you want to pay them less money to do the job, and you have someone here who can do the job and great, and just because you don't want to pay me the money, but then you're going to try to be slick and ask me questions, then you go hire 2 more people that are not qualified. What the fuck? WTF? You know what I'm saying? That's what scratch my head. I'm like, don't you
Believe.
say.
Can you see? It's written. It's right here in front of me. Look.
And that's a choice that's, you know, she makes every single time. And you know what? She's doing the same thing again. She hired somebody that don't know what the heck they're doing, and she's botching up worse than the other ones before. And I told Pat, I was like, I don't give a 2, 3, or 4 fucks, okay?
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, that's it. You make your choice just because you want to be cheap. So all right.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, what they find out too is what happens is when we take that route, it actually creates something much bigger that's going to have to be handled at a much higher level, and that person who they hired is not going to be able to handle that, and they're going to come back to you or, you know, or whomever and say, hey, we need a big, huge problem fixed.
But there's another thing too when I think about it, you know, putting myself aside from the labels, right, is that this is where that level of consciousness when it comes to money. Sometimes people think paying less for something saves them, but then there's also something to bring to comparison: quantity versus quality control, right? You know, you pay for the best, you get the best. If you pay less, you get what? Scraps, right? So don't complain.
But is that the truth?
Hmm?
Because you can pay for things that are very expensive that you may think that you're getting the best, but you may not be getting the best.
Right, but this is when you have something to compare with now. Okay, you have something to weigh and measure with here. And the same experience is repeating itself again in a cycle in front of you, but then you're still holding on tight to something that's not serving you. Then what? Then what? You see what I'm saying?
Well, there's a good analogy. Holding on to things that don't serve us, right? So when we have that tight grip, there's no room for expansion, there's no room for growth, there's no room for being able to receive.
Being able to receive, because I even think about it when it comes to when I do my hair, right? Where I go to and I say, well, she charges more money with this, right, for me to do my hair, but I get the best of the best when it comes to how I want my hair to turn out. Now, I may end up spending less money with somebody else, and then it doesn't come out the way that I want for it to come out. You see what I'm saying? So what I do is, as the co-creator that I am, is that I'm creating where I'm treated fairly with being charged less and get the best quality. And at the same time, the other person is honoring themselves with their gifts and talent. That is how we balance things out. And it doesn't start from the speaking, it starts from within our consciousness.
Yeah. Well, because whatever we're thinking and even not speaking is co-creating. We're co-creating.
That's right. And that's why I don't hold on to attachments. I don't hold on to attachments at all whatsoever. So it's like even if someone feels and says, well, this is how I want it to be for myself, then I would say, okay, great. This is how I want it for myself. This is what I choose, more than one. Better words is choice, right? Choosing. And once you do that, the universe starts to align with you to bring things to come together between you and that person. Or if it's not that person or situation, then something else will come and circulate into your energy field to create that which you are aligning with from your level of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So all of that is a part of what I also teach when it comes to consciousness and, you know, our creation and our manifestation and how it works. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're honoring yourself and you're honoring others at the same time with their own beliefs and their thoughts and their views. No right and wrong, you see?
Absolutely.
That is where the world is heading. This is not where the new earth is, not where everybody's going to be on the same page. No. Mm-mm. That's a false perception and that's a false teaching. Mm-hmm. This is about what life is going to be like in paradise, where we are doing whatever we choose to do and to be, and honoring each other for our similarities and our differences. Mm-hmm. And there will be no room for jealousies or lack and limitation consciousness, because there's going to be enough of everything to go around. Everybody's going to be with the love of their lives. You know, people who keep talking about, you're not going to be with the love of your life. Now, when you know, I deal with logic too at the same time, Linda, and I say to myself, shoot, when I think about my beloved and I think about what joy that brings me in elevation, I just know that I get over and over again, there will be no more sadness and sorrow, just like what the Bible said.
Yeah.
There will be no more separation. And that includes no more separation from death.
Yeah.
There's no more physical death that will affect us with losing loved ones or children or anything of the matter. Because I even asked Spirit today's conversation, Spirit, I said, are we going to continue with the incarnation thing? Also because the body is going to start. And so Spirit says eventually the babies that are going to be born years from now, they're going to be with the full DNA structure, the new DNA structure of the body. So the crystalline, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like, damn, then we're really going to look like aliens that time.
That's right. Seriously.
Just gonna,
oh my gosh. Too funny.
But I got to keep it clean in case we're going to use. But I don't remember which movie it was when he said, oh, that time they're going to be so brilliant, they're just going to walk right out of the vagina. What was the other word that they used? We're going to walk right out of the pee.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, and I had heard that there's something about there's going to be a birthing center in the future. There's going to be this birthing center where it's not going to be anything of what we experience now. It'll be very, very different. But so really what you're saying is walking, that it may just happen that way. Who knows,
I know. I mean, I really feel too that some women are going to end up just birthing at home in the water. And what's been happening too is that there's a lot of men who are helping to facilitate the birth.
Midwives. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this, I believe that the reason why that's happening, what Spirit is telling me right now as we're speaking, is that the babies that are coming in do not want to end up in a hospital setting with drugs and instruments or any of that stuff, the energy. So they're just facilitating to be born wherever the heck they are.
Love it. Well, that makes so much sense because you figure in a hospital, there's so much death and there's illness and sickness and tools and the energies in the hospital. I mean, it's very...
The drug, because my last two kids, oh my God, that energy with having my last two kids was no drugs at all. I had no time. They're like, sorry, Sharon.
My first two were same thing, natural births.
Oh my God.
And they were quick. I mean, it was like camping out. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Flew out.
Yeah.
Flew out. And my mom had came to me in a vision and told me it was going to happen that way. And I laughed about it. And really did happen.
It's amazing. I just want to bring to our attention, it's 7:52. We've had more than an hour on the show.
Really? That's what I was ready and said, wait a minute. Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm going to have to wrap it up here pretty soon. I know. So I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty cool.
It is.
So I don't know what's going to...
Energy, shift of energy. That's why I said I have a feeling we're going to kind of edit some of this and it'll be put in this show.
Do what?
I said I feel we're going to edit this and put it out as a show. What I spoke about, because we never talk about the same thing in the same way.
No.
We never do.
Yeah.
But I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, why does it feel a little longer? But I wasn't.
I know, I was too. And I looked down at the clock and I was like, oh my God, it's 7:52.
Isn't that amazing? What a difference a week makes.
And it said 6:30 to 7:30.
Wow.
Yeah. So very interesting. So people listening, take note to that. That,
this is what happens with the shifting and the changing that's happening within ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And our perception of things, letting go of talking about the darkness and all these things. Yes, we know that it exists. Yes, it does exist, but we don't have to hold on to it. You know what I mean? It exists, and still it is our perception.
Yeah, always. I always say there's two things: choice and perception. We always have a choice in every moment, and it's how we perceive that choice to be is it will determine how we choose, right? So always, and love and fear are the only two things: love and fear, choice and perception. That's it.
Because after a while, when I'm hearing that same talk about the dark, because it reminds me of what with my relatives, when I hear it all the time, I'm like, I'm pulling away from it, because then that means I'm going to join you in your perception of everything being dark. And as soon as something goes wrong, oh, the darkness is here. Oh, the darkness. Like, really? Come on now.
Yeah, and we just feed that darkness. We don't want to feed the darkness.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. So it's important to recognize and see things for what it is, let it go, and move forward.
Yeah.
Move forward.
Yeah.
Move.
Well, so I think to kind of wrap up, I think that really bringing the messages from you as being Queen Nefertiti and Spirit, and as to why we would want to hear those messages. And I don't really know. I think that, or I feel that each show, we'll just kind of know what we're going to dive into, and the topic that we'll talk about.
Even if we ask each other questions, whoever questions come across is just going to be like a show right then and there without even knowing what the topic is. I just love
That's what I mean. Yeah. That we can just, it's a matter of what's coming through and just going with that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, we didn't introduce the show as Gold Truth Raw and Real, but hey, welcome everybody if you're tuning in this late, because we didn't know what we were going to be doing. We didn't know if we were going to do that. And so if this ends up being a show that we appreciate you listening and tuning in, and really there's so much magic and things that can really be happening in your life. It's just you making that change and deciding and choosing to make that change, for knowing that there's a greater purpose. And that's what we're going to bring with this show, is Sharon's going to be bringing us, and how we can all come together and what we can do and what that's going to look like. So
yeah. And what makes this real is the fact that we were just being natural to ourselves with all of this, you know what I mean? No script, no papers, no nothing.
Yeah.
But this is what it is. This is the reality that we are creating right now as we speak.
Yeah, and something else I want to bring forth too, and we sort of talked about it out earlier in the show, that really when something is happening between two people, is to really take a look at, are you being triggered and you're reacting? Where is that coming from? What healing needs to happen in you that to look at? You know what I mean? So it's a beginning, and it's becoming aware is the first step, recognizing that there is, oh, I need healing around this. Oh, wow, I reacted. Oh, wow, So I think that's really important too, because we do get in disharmony and things, because we get our feelings hurt or something happens, and we're wondering like, okay, that person did this to me, and it's not that, like you said something about the universe does things for you, not to you. I think
the universe does things for you and through you.
Both. Yes, not to you. Yeah.
Not to you, because we're not victims here.
Right. So I think that's important.
Your children, your co-workers, your neighbors, your boss, your supervisor, whoever, even your dog is your trigger.
Yeah.
Living, the plants, you could be just looking at the plant and say, oh my God, why do I feel like I've been here before with this plant? It could be anything.
Yeah.
And then that that's something to look at, and pay attention to the signs. Really paying attention to the signs, you know, and not labeling anything, not judging it, just looking at it for what it is. Anything that you feel that you want to run away from, that is a trigger, and that includes unfriending, deactivating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think becoming the observer. Really become the observer of your life, of the situation that's happening. Look from a bird's eye perspective. It's like a hawk or an eagle. They fly.
The eye of Horus comes in. Yeah.
Okay, I think that would be a great topic to talk about next week. So the eye of Horus, because an eagle or a hawk, they fly very, very high to see their prey, right?
So they see it from all eyes too. When you see birds, if you notice birds and amphibians, they have the ability to see things even behind their head. That's why my kids were like, how did you see that? I was like, because I'm a fish. Yeah. I see it over there, and I saw it over there.
That's right. Because you know what I would say that is you're tuned in, right? And my son's in martial arts, my oldest son, and he said that what they're taught is they can feel the energy coming from behind.
Yeah, that's what I can't get with movies, like in scary movies, whatever movies you're watching, can't they feel the person behind?
But it's a movie. It's a movie, that's the whole thing. It's a movie. They have to.
But it must be like that in real life. Sometimes like, Tommy, look behind you. Can't you feel that? There's something. That's funny to me, though.
Yeah.
That's funny to me in a way. But you know what? That's a part of one of the senses that we have, because we have so many senses that we don't use or utilize a lot. I notice from human beings, you know,
Yeah.
you have 6 senses, and I believe we have more than 6 senses.
Yeah.
So I think there's also a sense of perception as well.
Yeah.
And a sense of, you know, that feeling mechanism to know and feel that, you know, there's someone in the room with you, or you can sense something is wrong and paying attention to it with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that message that you're getting.
Well, and it was something we talked about today, what I think is really important, which would be another great subject to talk about on the show, is how you had said about the guard saying about what he said about Lord, and what then you said to me, what did I feel? Did I feel what he had said? And when I really felt that, it was like, no, I didn't feel that at all, right? So it was honoring your own feelings of what we know as opposed to what somebody else says.
And where's that feeling coming from?
Huh?
Where is that feeling coming from?
The heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because your heart is your compass.
Yeah, it's the truth.
That's the truth.
It's the truth. The heart will never lead you down the wrong road, ever.
Always the words that come from another human being, you know, because I can't think of the words coming from from animals, because animals are not speaking. It's telepathic, right? And so that's a connection that we have to the plants and the animals. So this is about communicating through the heart and what the heart is saying, what the heart is feeling, what the heart knows, you know, what the heart wants, what the heart desires, right? And not because of what words that came out of somebody's mouth, because the words that has come out of people's mouths is what has caused so much chaos. You know, my mother used to say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah, I tell my kids that same thing. I've told them when they were little.
My mother started that then.
Oh, that's right. That is so true. I mean, if you listen to your own heart, because who knows where they're coming from? It's from their perspective of what they're seeing. They weren't feeling what I felt because there wasn't the connection, because it was a different gender, first of all, too. So.
What if he was just there dating, or what if he was there looking for you?
Serendipity. Yeah, I know. So when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that.
Exactly. That came to me today. That wasn't because that came to me day before yesterday. That came to me
today.
Yeah, exactly.
So honor your feelings and your heart, and definitely.
And I understand where you're coming from, because I went through the same thing too with the doubts and stuff like that, just because of listening to other people's words.
Yeah, I canceled out. I was like, you know what? I'm done. That's it. Over. I got my confirmation. And I was just like, there you go. I was throwing pictures away. I was just like tossing everything.
Imagine if it would have waited until when you were having a dream or something, and like, oh my God, I let that go, and then if he would become brokenhearted that he hasn't seen you again since that's 3 weeks now? Is it 3
No,
weeks?
5.
Wow, the time flies. Oh my God. Are you serious? That's over a month?
I think this was just the 5th week.
Wow.
I'll tell you really quick.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that I follow.
No, you're right. This is the 3rd week. Oh my God. So you said 3, didn't you?
I said 3, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. It is the 3rd week. This is
Oh.
the 3rd week. It was actually the 3rd week was on Saturday.
Oh.
I thought it was 5. Interesting how I feel it's been so much longer than you knew the reality of. And it's interesting of 3s. 3s have been.
And also how interesting when you met him, you were in black, and now this is an all white affair.
And I'm in all white.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes. The bride, the purity, the cleansing, the clearing.
Heavenly.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say more pure, more.
There's a purity.
Yeah.
You know, and there is something that's true when it comes to natural law, which I know they stated in the other laws, is that, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. It's like, you know, hey, wow.
Yeah.
You know, even I remember when there were 2 women that were trying to insinuate that the person was with someone when that was not true, because I did not feel it in my heart ever, ever, ever. And I said, if I had listened to that, those were those energies that I understand now where it comes from. It comes from individuals in a collective way. When there is jealousy and envy, and then these seeds, if you allow them to be planted into your spirit, then you're giving away your gift.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So thank God I was able to, I already felt like your heart was just sinking to the ground when he said what he said, when it's not even true. Because if I had felt that in any way whatsoever,
Yeah.
I would have said it. I would have said it, because I'm not into fooling, no. And I made sure to say, God, this is not any ego of mine. Like, yes, I just want it to be him. But no, it's not that.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't jumping out at me, I can't force it.
Yeah.
I can't force it at all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So I know for sure that the heart speaks louder than words.
Yes. Yes.
It does.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, that's
So,
awesome.
yep. Time for us to take off the mask. No more masquerades.
That's right. No more masquerades.
No more masquerades.
Stripping yourself. I'm writing a book. It's called Mask.
Oh, really?
I'll have to share that with you at some other time. Yeah, I went through a retreat, and it was very interesting. Fear, doubt, they all played a role. It was almost like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Along this journey, I met I met strength, I met doubt, I met fear, and I met each one of these.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I met mirror. And each one of these had a role that they played. And I was wearing this mask. And each, I would ask each one, how do I get this mask? Or they would give me some information. And I wrote a story on it. Now I just have to elaborate on it. But
So you already started writing it already then?
Oh, I already wrote it. It's a short story, but I want to elaborate on it and build upon the story, because I can actually build upon the story.
Feels like it's going to be a children's book more than an adult book, though, Linda.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah, it's called The Story of Mask. That's the title of the story. And so, but it relates to me in this journey. And at the very end, I was able to take the mask out, and I actually ended up burying the mask. It was an actual physical mask that I actually had.
Really? Huh.
Yes, I found all these things in this garage that she said the garage is open to find anything that you need. And it was all about meditation and things like that. We just moved with our spirit the whole week we were there.
Yes.
And I felt compelled to, because all these things, fear, doubt, and all that came up. And so there was a worm which was related to my ex-husband. And so, like a snake. It was actually a snake, but I ended up making him the worm. But it was just very interesting. So, but the story, it's just, how there's things that come along in this journey that bring up that we have all these things. And so, yeah. So it's just taking off all the mask. And once you take off the mask and just be transparent,
it feels so much better.
Be who you are, right? And just show up in the world. So,
and the more we do that within ourselves, is the more that others will find it within themselves to be that way, And because even for myself, I've come into so much self-acceptance that even if I feel like, if anyone says, oh, she's weird, and oh, she talks so much, and oh, she's really weird and crazy. Yes, crazy.
yeah.
You know that most of the times I believe that 8 out of 10 people feel the same way too.
Oh.
When you allow yourself to be free that way, they're like, oh, I can do the same thing too. Holy shit.
Give it a permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
All continue to do that. And that's why I even say, most importantly, which I don't hear too much people saying it, is that there's nothing to hide anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing more to hide. The only thing that Spirit tells me that's going to be hidden and sacred is making love. That's it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
That's the only thing that's going to remain secret or hidden or not shared, or like that. Yeah. So nothing to hide.
Yeah, and we leave you with that. Nothing to hide. Take off all the masks, and we love you. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
This has been lovely because we're past an hour.
It's been very wonderful.
See what we created without paying anything extra.